Welcome everybody, this is the Microsoft 365 and Power Platform weekly community call, which happens every single Tuesday at 8 a.m. Pacific time with Microsoft presenters, except on summertime. We'll come back on that one in a second. Today is May 13th. My name is Sasa Yuvanan. I'm a Principal Product Manager of Microsoft and your host today. Now, today, we do have two really cool demos coming up in the schedule. Before we go there, we'll have the latest updates and news on Microsoft 365 and Power Platform. Bit of a recapping on some of the slides, but it's actually important because we always have new people joining on this course, and that's why we want to make sure that everybody is up to date on where to find the relevant information. Then we do a quick look on all of the different news across Microsoft blocks, across Microsoft 365 Power Platform, and that was a lot of news this time. So a lot of news this week was announced, maybe already queuing up for the upcoming Build conference, which is next week. Years, week, months, I don't know. But next week is Build, so that might be actually kind of a teaser on that one as well. But more news on Build for sure next week as well. And then we'll go do the group picture with Together mode, and then we go to the actual stars of the day. Now, Bob German is going to do the demo on add authentication to your declarative agents and API plugin, but you might know or you might not know, but Bob German is one of the cloud advocates, principal cloud advocates who actually pretty recently retired. However, before he retired, he wanted to actually follow his commitments within this community course, so he did record all of these demos as a video, and Paolo is going to do the intro and then play the video from Bob, and then Paolo is going to close up that setup. So that's why we have Paolo and Bob on that particular setup. Really, really cool, and congratulations one more time for Bob on that transition. And then Gomolemo is kind of talking about creating multimodal AI prompts in the Power Platform and using them in Power Automate flows. Really, really exciting thing as well. Now, we only have two demos today, so we don't need to rush significantly, but let's keep the pace. We can close a bit early, so we don't go at least overtime today, which might always happen when we have three demos within the call. Typically, it's three demos, but we're closing into the build. So there's a bit of a free time now before we have a lot of new stuff. So after build, we definitely have three demos per week on end of May and June and all of that stuff. More on that one a bit later. Now, we do have a lot of assets to get started on Microsoft 365 and Power Platform. First of all, our YouTube channel where all of these community call recordings are getting published is the Microsoft Community Learning video channel. And this channel really isn't following up on any recommendations on the YouTube algorithms or everything. It's a channel where we want to actually publish a lot of videos. So rather than really optimizing the 2 videos in a week and maximizing the views, no, we actually publish way more videos on there because there's a lot of guidance and information available for you. So you do want to subscribe on that one, and it might be a bit overwhelming, but try to cut it down a bit. So having a kind of at 1-2 videos per day on that channel, so we don't overboard you on those new videos. But hey, new videos showcasing how to get started. That's not a bad idea for anybody. Now we do have a LinkedIn page and group for following up on updates and having discussions. There's a lot of open source assets in the GitHub. We also have a sample galleries, which will make it easy to find the relevant sample for you from Power Platform, N365, SPFX, whatever you're looking for. You can easily find samples which are created by Microsoft or community from one centralized location. A lot of URLs, you'll find all of these URLs in AKMS Community Home or a bit newer URL, which is mapping to the same location, community.ms. Now, we do have a lot of these community calls. This is the Tuesday call, 8 a.m. Pacific time, every single Tuesday, and with Microsoft speakers, except on summertime. So during July and August this year, typically we have been pausing and having this call on a break during that time because a lot of Microsoft employees are having summer breaks during that time period. This year, we actually going to have a community takeover with community demos. So we do have a long list of presenters already scheduled for the Tuesday call. So we will keep on executing the Tuesday call throughout the summer as well. It might be 1 demo or 2 demos or 3 demos per call. We'll see how that goes, but we will keep on having this Tuesday call without any breaks during summertime as well, which is great. Awesome. On top of this, we have the monthly Power Platform. No, not yet. Let me go back in here. Monthly Power Platform community call. one forward. Here we go. Monthly Power Platform community call, and which is community demos. We have the Office Admin monthly call, which is Microsoft demos, and then we have our 7 a.m. Thursday series, which is either Microsoft 365 Power Platform or Viva Connection SharePoint Framework community call. Those are happening every single Thursday bi-weekly. So basically every single Thursday at 7 a.m. Pacific time, either one of those calls is happening, and you can always download the recurrent invites to your inbox. We also share the updates on the plans and agendas in the meetup service advanced. So roughly on Thursdays the previous week, we always publish what's going to be covered within the next week within this community calls. So if you go to the meetup service at AKMS Community Meetup and you subscribe there, you will get an email whenever we publish any details on the following calls. Now, for a lot of these calls, we do welcome community demos, like mentioned. A lot of them are community powered. What it means is that you, every single one of you within this call, are welcome to actually do demos as well. Doesn't have to be rocket science, not intended to be rocket science, doesn't have to be open source, but we do not welcome product demos. So basically, we're looking into people showcasing what they built or how they're using the products. So for example, if you used, for example, Power Apps and collections or whatever, showing your best practices on Power Apps, or it might be your best practices on using React 17 or Angular or whatever in SPFX, whatever comes to mind, you're more than happy to come and join and share your learnings within here. Your experiences in JSON definitions in Microsoft Lists, how to get started with Power Automate, all of that is a really, really welcome as a demo within the community call. Now, for a lot of the assets, we do have a lot of assets available also in Microsoft Learn and a lot of learning modules. These are all free, so you can access the learn.microsoft.com and you can find individual learning modules which can be tracked with your profile. Are you already, which of them are you actually watching and watched and so on. So just check out that location as well. A lot of new content there as well across the different topics. Now, I mentioned the sample gallery already up quickly, but definitely a location which you want to double check, AKMS Community Samples. We aggregate samples from Microsoft and from community to one centralized location. So rather than having all of the samples all around the GitHub and locations, you can't find them. Let's make it easy for everybody to find the relevant sample for them. So AKMS Community Samples, we have aggregated information from GitHub, from Microsoft demos, and community contributed demos to a centralized location where you can find then a lot of samples across the different topics, a lot of inspiration for you, and also if you're contributing, we will auto-generate you this kind of a personalized sample contribution page, which is a really, really great way of sharing what you have contributed for the community as well. Now, for a lot of those samples, they are in a GitHub. You might be wondering, what is GitHub? I'm not familiar with that. Or what if you would like to contribute on these samples? Well, that's why we have Sharing is Caring initiative. And David Warner directly from LA Studios is going to explain, what is this all about?
Yes, thank you, Vesa. We are back in our official locations. And so, yes, I'm live from LA. Thank you, everybody. So we finally have the Sharing is Caring session open for registration. Please do take a look. It is next Monday, right before ECS, and then we'll set up another one for all those who are inspired by all the amazing things they're going to see at ECS and or anywhere else in the world by these community calls. This is a live opportunity to collaborate with other members of the community to learn how that gub of hits. I'm just making stuff up now. That Git of hubs, that hub of Gits works. How do you contribute to the community? How do you use those samples? How do you get involved? It's live. It's safe space. It means you don't record it. So you're free to ask any and all questions. And it's absolutely free of charge. And you're going to get, recognized for it because it does count as a contribution. So when you come and join, you can get recognized, and that is where our recognition program comes into play. Alive and well, we just, in fact, renewed with Credly and upped our subscription to make sure that we are in a good position to recognize all of you amazing people in the community with things like the new Star Wars themed badges that are available for the next month and a half. So get involved. It is absolutely free. We always absolutely want to recognize you. This is an official way. While we do have fun with some of these badges, they are official and accredited. You can associate them to LinkedIn, to your blog post, put them on your resume, share them with your managers, let their clients know, because you are making a difference and they prove that. And we really thank you, love you all for what you're doing in the community. It's our small way of saying thank you for all the big work that you're doing. So thank you very much. That's back to you.
Excellent. Thank you, David from LA Studios, Helsinki Studios, taking over now that we are back in our normal location, not in Las Vegas like last week, which was a nice experience though. Now, quick recap on all of the different events which are happening. So the next big event is next week, is Microsoft Build, happening in Seattle and online. The in-person experience is already sold out, but the online option is available and it's free. So if you go to build.microsoft.com, you can see all of the different sessions, and you can follow up on this live between the May 19th to 22nd. Great option to join as well. Now, the following week after that is then the ECS or combination of 3 different conferences: European Collaboration Summit, European AI Cloud Summit, and European Biz App Summit. And those are happening in Düsseldorf in 26th to 28th of May. Great location, great option. Yesterday, this conference had 150 tickets left. So if you were kind of wondering on maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't, I don't know, you should go and double check if there's any tickets left on there. It's going to be sold out, I think, after this week. Now, following up on that conference, then there's the European Power Platform Conference happening at Vienna at 16th to 19th of June. Great option as well. And you can double check and register there. And there's a nice save 150 with the code of business apps option now available. This was just shared with me by the organizers of that conference. Great options as well to meet everybody else in the community. Now, on that side of the pond, we have Seattle, Atlanta, and Dallas happening starting from June 23rd to 27th, following up on August and November with Atlanta and Dallas. Great options to stay up to date also with the features what we're rolling out from Microsoft. So TechCon 365, great conference setup as well. And then in October 28th to 13th, we have the Power Platform Community Conference happening at MGM Grand. This is the same location where we were last week with Microsoft 365 conference. Great conference as well. Great venue. Definitely worthwhile to drop by with additional workshops as well. Awesome stuff. Then in November 17th, a week of November 17th, we do have Ignite coming up. This is already confirmed to happen in San Francisco, California. But you should actually go to ignite.microsoft.com to get some more insights or register, get updates when that is available. And then the last conference, bigger conference of the year is the European SharePoint Conference, or I think it's European SharePoint Azure Microsoft 365. It's a really long name nowadays, and that's happening in Dublin on 1st to 4th of December. And there is a sale right now, which is available, so super early bird tickets, but that sale ends tomorrow on Wednesday, 14th of May. So you do want to check that one out. If you go at www.sharepointeurope.com, you can still save money if you are looking into coming to Dublin as well. The venue is awesome in Dublin. We've been there in the past as well. It is a really nice setup. Now, on top of that, there's a lot of other events happening all around the world. If you go to communitydays.org, you can see a list of tens and tens of events happening all around the world across Dynamics and 365 Power Platform in Oslo, in Sweden, in Warsaw, in Netherlands, and Seattle, Washington, and so on. So there's a lot of different things happening. Please check out communitydays.org. Easiest ways to stay up to date on all of the different events worldwide. Now, this week, like mentioned in the intro, a lot of news happening actually from Microsoft. Maybe this is kind of some of these are coming from the Microsoft 365 conference, but some of might be kind of pushing the news out previous week. So this week will be a bit silent, and then in Build Week, we'll do more announcements next week. But a lot of news, and David is copying the list of news in the chat if you are interested on checking out all of the updates across Microsoft 365 and Power Platform. A lot of different updates on that side. Now, then not yet. Before we go to the Together Mode picture, I just cannot remember that I have this in the between here. So one more thing, just a reminder, we do have our Copilot prompt library available, which is a great way of contributing. All of these contributions also count, and a great way and a great option to contribute your learnings on how to use the Copilot, and create prompts on the Copilot to change its behavior. And the prompt of the week this time is coming from Dinesh Girashe, and this is really a prompt where we are checking out the new features and updates in SPFX version. So that is a really simple example how you can use Copilot rather than searching the relevant and updated information, which is available. You can actually use Copilot to ask about search results or information from the internet, and that works obviously in the paid Copilot or in a non-paid Copilot as well. Really, really great option, and you can check AKMS PNP prompt library for more details on all of the other examples on how to use prompt within a Copilot. Now, then, before we go to the actual stars of today, we do have our group photo together mode picture. I will set up some times. I'm already in together mode mode. There's Stephanie as well. There's David, Paolo, and additional people, Peter there as well. Let me actually adjust a bit on. Let me adjust a bit on scene because I want to adjust the experience a bit. I like green. I can walk in the forest with our dogs every single day, so I love green. So let's wait a few more seconds. We're not yet recording, and we do have 50 seats in the room. Let's see how this goes today. It is pixel perfect, but I'm hoping and crossing fingers that we'll get a bit more people attendance. We do have 250 people in the call right now. So if you enable the camera, we do have a few minutes we can spend in here, so we get a nice picture with more and more people in here, because we do have only 2 demos in the today. So I will actually get my Camtasia recorder ongoing. Now we have 3 people in the front row. I think we are starting to be good. We're not yet recording, Wait. Where is my Camtasia recording? There, no, that is a Snackit. Camtasia is coming in here, and let me put the screen settings okay. There we go, and we can see 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, and let's do some hand waving. Thank you, everybody. And wave, smiles, excellent, awesome to see that many people. And it's working today, it's working okay. Everybody speaks perfect, really, really cool. Thank you for being part of the community. Awesome to have you here. Thank you. Really, really cool. And we will share a GIF animation out of that in the social media. Thanks, everybody. It worked really well today. So let's actually move in here, and then we go to the actual stars of the day. So we'll start with a Bob's retirement video, so to say. As I said, Bob has retired, for those who haven't actually heard about this one, but he didn't want to give up his spots on the community call, so he recorded some of the demo videos, and Paolo is going to help with that setup, and then we're going to see a video from Bob, and then Gomolemo is going to do another demo today. We do have plenty of time. We only 2 demos today, which is great, but Paolo, you can start sharing your screen, and you'll be the organizer on making sure that everything is working fine.
Yeah, please let me know if you see my screen.
We can see the screen, we can hear you, and hopefully we'll hear Bob in a second, but should be good. You know what you're doing for sure.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you, Vesa. So yes, today in this demo, we are going to see how we can add authentication to a declarative agent when consuming an API plugin. And as Vesa explained, I'm just the facilitator now. I'm just delivering you the video demo registered by Bob. So today we are going to talk about what we have in the exercises or labs E6 of the Copilot Dev Camp. And maybe you're wondering what the Copilot Dev Camp is. Well, actually, the Copilot Dev Camp is a set of videos and hands-on labs that we provide you to learn how to extend Microsoft 365 Copilot, whether you are a maker or a professional developer. There are multiple pathways that you can go through. Here you can find the URL to access the Copilot Dev Camp, aka.ms/Copilot Dev Camp, and even a QR code if you want to just go straight there right after this day. In the Copilot Dev Camp, as I said, we have multiple pathways. You can be a maker, and if you are a maker, you can choose if you want to build an agent for Copilot using the Copilot Studio Agent Builder or the Copilot Studio, the official Microsoft Copilot Studio tool, or if you want to create SharePoint agents. These are the options if you are in the no-code, low-code space. If you are on the coder space and you want to actually write code, you can choose to extend Copilot with declarative agents, or you can choose to build your own custom engine agents where you can rely on any foundational model and orchestrator of your choice. Today, we are focusing our attention on the declarative agents, which is also called the path E in the Copilot Dev Camp. If you want to learn more about the Copilot Camp, you can also have a look at this video that I recorded a couple of months ago, where you can see all of the labs in little pieces and bytes. So you can dig into each of them and choose what is the best pathway for you. And if you will go through all of the pathways, you can even claim badges. So for each and every pathway that you will complete, you can get a badge with a blue belt, reminding the time when I was a judo boy. And you will have one for each of the pathway. If you will complete all of them, you will get a black one. You will be a path master. And if you will also share with the community your learnings and you will upload a sample to the community sample gallery, you will get the red belt and you will become a sample sensei. Keep into account that this will be the last week when we have this initiative so far. So you need to rush it. You need to go to Copilot Camp, learn and claim your badges by the end of next week. That said, let's move to the actual content of this demo. And when you use Microsoft Copilot, you can also rely on agents. And those agents can be based on content that you have in the Microsoft 365 tenant. So you go through the semantic index for Copilot and you get additional grounding data from your tenant. And as such, you will be able to access emails, documents, Teams chat, and stuff like that. But when you create custom agents for Microsoft 365 Copilot, you can also consume external APIs. However, we all know that whenever we consume an API, it is really important and fundamental to have security in place, which is precisely the topic of today's demo. And in fact, when you want to consume an external API from an agent for Microsoft 365 Copilot, you have multiple options. Of course, you can choose the anonymous one, which is definitely not the suggested one, unless you are using something like a weather forecast service or something like that. You have the option to use an API key, which is, again, not really the best option because you will not be able to give a personalized content to the user. Or you can rely on single sign-on with Entra ID or with Open Authorization 2.0, again, eventually including Entra ID as the identity provider. In these two scenarios, you will be able to give personalized content to your user based on who they are and on the authorizations that they have. So these are the suggested options. And today, we are going to see in the demo that Bob recorded how to use the single sign-on with Entra ID. So let me move to the actual demo recorded by Bob and enjoy the view.
So I'm going to choose the regular OAuth authentication because I can get Teams Toolkit to do most of the setup for me. And in the process, you'll get to learn how the Teams Toolkit setup files work. At this point, we've already built a declarative agent with an API plugin using the Trey Research Consulting example. And we're going to add authentication to the API so that it's secured. The first thing you need to do is to create what's called an Azure Active Directory manifest file. Azure Active Directory is the old name for Entra ID. And this is going to tell Teams Toolkit exactly what type of application it should register. So it has all the registration details inside of this JSON file. So go ahead and save that into the project. And we'll check that one off. And the next thing we need to do is edit a file called teamsapp.local.yml. And this is the instructions to Teams Toolkit when it sets up your application. Version 1.5 is what the previous lab had, but we had to update the schema and the version number so that it could do the app registration. So we're now on version 1.7 of that file. And next, we're going to add some instructions to have it register the Entra ID application. So we're just pasting some information under the provision section of the file, which is what happens when you hit F5, or part of what happens. And we've just added a step for creating the Entra ID app and another one for saving the details to our environment file automatically. The next step is to update that Entra ID application, and we're going to have it generate an app secret or client secret and some other details that happen after the registration time. So we'll just paste that into place. And there was a schema change around how the output files work. So we've just got to go in and quickly change the output path to use the new syntax for version 1.7. So we'll do that quickly, and it should fix the red squiggly line. It should go away for us, which is always good. All right. Finally, because our code is also going to need access to those environment variables, we need to tell Teams Toolkit to expose them. So this is where Teams Toolkit will write some values into our env.local file. And so that goes down here at the bottom of the file. And as I say, you don't have to remember all this. I just want to explain the principles a little bit, and then you can follow the lab instructions, which are on the Copilot Camp website. On this next exercise, I'm going to make the same changes basically to another file. This one is not teamsapp.local.yaml. This is just plain old teamsapp.yaml. And this one is used when you provision into Azure instead of running locally. I'm not going to be doing that here in this video, but it's just prudent to go ahead and fix it at this time. So another thing we need to add here is instructions to put the app inside the Teams developer portal vault. Now, since we're handling an app secret here, we can't put that in the manifest or anywhere where it would be shared. So the vault is going to safely store that information for us, and Teams Toolkit will put that in. So now we've told Teams Toolkit to provision everything. The next step is to tell Copilot that it needs to authenticate. So to do this, I'm going to go up to the app package and open up the Open API definition file. And this is all kind of a standard. This is not a Microsoft specific thing, but notice that I'm going to add a security schema in explaining to Copilot that there is an OAuth authentication that's needed. And then what I need to do is I need to add inside of every path that I've defined, I need to add that so that I'm telling Copilot, no matter which one of these API methods that I call, I always need to use the auth code. Now, if I wanted to have some of them be anonymous or use a different scheme, I could certainly do that right there. The next step then is to update the plugin file. So this file contains all the instructions, again, to Copilot, but everything that's not in that standard Open API definition file. So I'm going to change it from no auth to OAuth, and I'm going to reference that location in the Teams Developer Portal Vault so that Copilot can get to the app secret and do the OAuth flow that it needs to do. So at this point, Copilot knows how to log the user in and supply an access token. But there's no security unless we actually check the access token inside of our API. So that's the next thing that I'm going to do is the next exercise of the lab is update the application code. Now, unfortunately, Microsoft does not provide a library for validating access tokens in Node.js, and this is a Node application. There are detailed instructions on how to do this by writing your own code, and I'll reference those in the show notes. But to save you the trouble, my colleague Waldeck Mastercards has written this library called JWT Validate. I just want to point out that this is community supported. It's not officially from Microsoft, and you need to use it at your own risk. Or you can follow the official instructions and write your own validation code. Now I'm going to go ahead and install Waldeck's npm package, npm install JWT Validate, and that will load all of Waldeck's code and the library into place. So at this point, I need to update my own application code to use the library. And the app includes a service called the Identity Service, which is currently hard-coded to always assume that the user is Avery Howard, who is a user that's in part of the test data. So let me just show you the updates here. I'm going to go ahead and import Waldeck's library and then add a member to my class to store a reference to an instance of that library, because we want to let the library do caching of the private keys that are used to validate the token, and we only want to have one copy of the library, one instance running, so that caching will work. So now inside the class, we're going to check and see if we have a validator, and if we don't, we're going to go ahead and new that up. Next, we're going to set the validation options, which tells the library that we want it to check the tenant, the audience, the issuer, and the scope to make sure all those things, as well as the digital signature for our token, are valid. There's details inside the comments, by the way. If you have a multi-tenant application, you need to do this slightly differently. And then we'll validate the token, and the library will throw an exception if the validation fails, and the code will return a 401 access denied. If the validation succeeds, we'll save away the user ID, username, and user email and return those to the requesting Azure function. So now let's go back to the lab and finish things off. We need to restart the app, but before we do that, I'm going to increment the manifest version number. This just sort of makes sure that Copilot is going to load a fresh version of the application. It's sometimes worse without this, but it is a good practice. So I'll go ahead and increment that and start the application fresh. And we need to stop and start the application so that we run that F5 logic, which will provision the application, register it in the Teams developer portal, and all those good things. So here we are inside of Copilot, and let me go into the Trade Genie, and I'll ask it what projects I'm assigned to, and it's going to get permission to call the API because it knows it's a new version of the app. And now there's a sign-on button. So I'm already signed into Enter ID, so I'm not going to see anything inside the pop-up, but there will be a pop-up which will run the auth code flow and log me in, and I'm logged in as Amber, so this is working correct. I'm very happy. I'm going to send some good feedback because it correctly identified me as Amber. Now, Amber's not on any projects, so I'll go ahead and ask it to assign Amber to, or assign me to a project. And it knows who I am as the logged in user, and sure enough, it went ahead and assigned Amber to the project. Now, I don't have time to show you this week, but there are additional labs, one with a completely manual setup. For instance, maybe you wanted to use something other than Enter ID, and another one with single sign-on, where the user doesn't even see the pop-up, and it works directly with their Teams or Copilot login.
So thank you, Bob, and thank you for your dedication to the community. I hope you enjoyed this demo, which was the last one in the Copilot DevCamp demo about the extend pathway. Next week, we will have another demo about building custom engine agents. So back to you, Vesa, and thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Paolo, on that one. And then we'll straight move into Gomolemo and talking about creating multimodal AI prompts in the Power Platform and using them in Power Automate Flow.
Sure.
So
thank you.
Feel free to start sharing, and audio is good. So that's already good.
Okay.
And
awesome.
We can see the screen. Take it away.
Thank you. So, hi everyone. My name is Gomolemo, but you can call me Gomo. I'm a cloud developer advocate at Microsoft, and today I'll be showing you how to build multimodal AI prompts in the Power Platform and how to use those AI prompts within your Power Automate flows. So, quick crash course on the Power Platform. It's the world's most complete developer platform for rapidly building customized end-to-end business solutions, spanning no code to pro code. It also integrates seamlessly with Azure, Dynamics 365, as well as Microsoft 365. And it gives you a comprehensive set of tools to solve real business problems. It has Power Apps for mobile and desktop app development, Power Automate for cloud and desktop process automation, Power BI for business analytics and reporting. We have the Power Pages product, which is used for enterprise-grade websites, and of course, Copilot Studio for building agents. But in addition to these 5 main products, there are also capabilities, Power FX, Dataverse, connectors, and the star of this demo, AI Builder, which enables you to create and use AI models to streamline your business processes. You can choose from pre-built models designed for common business scenarios or build custom models tailored to your specific needs. AI Builder enhances Power Platform solutions by bringing the power of AI into your apps and workflows using a low-code approach that makes it accessible to a wide range of users. Traditionally, we had AI models that were suited to various business use cases, or whether it was document processing, text recognition, or even receipt scanning. All you had to do was select a model, train that model with your data, publish it, and then you could instantly invoke that model in an app, or automation, or agent. No code was needed at all, which really democratized access to custom AI models, especially for low-code developers. But now we have AI prompts. This is where your creativity can really flow. Using just natural language, you can design and integrate custom AI-driven actions called prompts, whether it's summarizing text, classifying data, or even generating insights. AI prompts lets you harness the power of GPT models and generative AI directly in your apps and workflows. And the way to build AI prompts is through the prompt builder in Power Apps. Now, let's take a step back and talk about what exactly a prompt is. So think of a prompt as a task or a goal that you give to a large language model. And with the prompt builder, you're able to build, test, and save custom prompts that cater to a specific business need. A prompt can be anything from, can you summarize this body of text, to please extract 5 data points from this email, or even, can you please generate a professional email response to this employee feedback? Now, since these prompts rely heavily on the default trained knowledge to generate these responses, you're also able to perform basic RAG, or retrieval augmented generation, by providing external Dataverse information to augment the knowledge of the model. Let's look at an example. Let's say you're building a customer support agent and you wanted to provide accurate order status updates. Instead of relying solely on the model's default knowledge, you can ground the prompt with real-time order data from Dataverse by adding relevant tables and columns like order history and shipping. By doing this, you ensure that the AI will always generate responses based on live business data, making it far more reliable for the user. And then, of course, built right into the tool, we have pre-built templates to easily get started building your own prompt. So you can simply select one, edit, and use it across your solutions. With that, let's see how we can actually build and use an AI prompt in Power Automate. So what I'll do now, I'll go directly to the Power Apps homepage. And to build a AI prompt, we just go to the AI Hub on the left-hand side of our screen. And once we're in the AI Hub, we are going to be selecting prompts because we want to be able to build a custom prompt. And then we'll select build your own prompt. Right, so this is essentially the prompt builder that we have inside of the Power Platform. And I'll show you how each of these different components work. But for starters, if it seems a bit overwhelming to build your own prompt from scratch, there's this Get Started with Copilot window where you are able to simply provide a description of what you want to create. So in this context, we want to create a prompt to extract details from receipts for expense processing, right? So We just describe what we need, we submit the description, and then Copilot should then create a pretty robust prompt that we can use and test almost instantly across our Power Platform solutions. So that is one way. But I want to create one from scratch just to show you the various moving parts that we can add. So when creating a prompt, the first thing to understand is to provide the prompt with a task. So in this case, we're going to give it a task and say you are an AI assistant designed to process incoming email and expense receipts. So email being text and receipts being some sort of image or document, right? But when we create this initial task, we need to somehow get inputs from the user, as both the email and the receipts will be different for everyone. So how we do that is we can just put our cursor where it needs to be. And then what we would do is we would just have an open slash and then choose a type of input. So in this case, we'll just choose text, and then we'll name that email. So that will be our email input. And then we'll do the same thing for receipts as well. But in this case, we'll be looking at image or document inputs for receipts. So as soon as we select image or documents, you'll see a pop-up that is asking us to switch to GPT-4o, and I'll explain what that is in a moment. But for now, let's just go ahead and name our inputs, receipts, and there we have our two inputs for our users. Now, in terms of the models, when we are creating prompts using the prompt builder, we have the option of using various models. So GPT-4o Mini is optimized for just text-based prompts, so processing text. GPT-4o is the model that is multimodal, right? It's able to read both text and images, documents as well, which is why it forced us to switch to GPT-4o when we made the choice to include a image document type. And then we also have the O1 model. This is the advanced reasoning model for more advanced processes. So with that, we have our first part. The next part is that we need to sort of set our expectations for the prompt. So in this case, for every email and receipt that we get, we need you to perform the following tasks. The first task is I want to categorize what the expense is, right? So what we'll say is we're going to say, I want you to use the categories listed in, and I can easily just do something like this. I'll say meals, then I'll say transport, then I'll say airfare, put that in a table, and I can carry on. Or what I can do is that I can ground this prompt in Dataverse data. And what I mean by that is let's go to the other tab. I have a table here called expense categories. Let's say these are the standard list of categories that we use across the business. And I always want my prompt to categorize my expenses based on these categories because it's central. So what I can do is back in my prompt builder, I can go ahead and select Dataverse. And then I can look for the specific table, expense category, and then I can say category.name. So essentially, I only want this prompt to choose from these lists of categories. And in the same breath, where we have the category description, that will help shape what the prompt decides for each category. So in that sense, I can go ahead and say, oh, okay, I also want you to use let's go ahead and go back to expense category. That's here. And this time I'll choose category description. And I'll say use the description to help you determine the correct category based on the receipt information. So this is how we can ground our prompts in actual live Dataverse data. And then I can go ahead and specify the rest of what I expect from the prompt. So I want the total. I would like the vendor's name, the expense date, the purpose of the expense from the email body, for example. And for each of this, I can add additional information as well. For example, for total, if it's in a foreign currency, convert to USD. For expense date, use the specific format here. It really just depends on what you want to do, and it's easy to express with just natural language. And then, of course, the next part would then to describe how we want the data to be displayed to us. So in this case, I just want you to give me the category, amount, vendor, date, purpose, and any notes. In this case, I'm saying if you see anything weird with the receipt, let me know. If it was converted in any way, tell me what the original currency is, whatever you want. Again, it's purely natural language. So with the prompt now created, what I can do is I can just do a quick test. So let me go into our input here. I'll provide some sample data. So you'll see I just have a sample email. And then for receipts, I'll go ahead and upload a sample receipt and then quickly go ahead and click test. So that is now reading the email, it's reading the receipt, and hopefully it'll listen to my prompt and extract exactly what I need from that. As you can see, here's the model response on the right. It's working well. However, this is just plain text, right? And it's very hard to work with just plain text, not just within the Power Platform, with just app development in general. So what's nice about this is that we can actually change the output from text to JSON. And with that, I can also specify the format that I need for that output. So if I specify a format, it means that every time I use this prompt, it will always give me the data in the specified format. So I can click apply, I can do a quick test once more, and then hopefully we get the extracted details in the format that I've specified. Let's see if that comes in. Okay, there you go. It's done. Cool. We've built the prompt. We can rename it, save it. That's fine. So I'm going to exit that because I already have a prompt called expense processor. And very, very quickly, I am looking at time. I want to go into Power Automate and let's build out the rest of this flow. So essentially, I have a prompt that reads receipts and emails. Now I need a flow that can put all that together. So here I have a flow. It gets triggered by an email that comes in. It gets the user profile of the sender. It adds a new row rather, to the expense reports, and then it creates some variables that we need to process the expense. So how we'd add a prompt in Power Automate? First things first, we need to add a new node, but I'm going to be adding the control node and specifically the apply to each. I would need the apply to each node because more than likely when someone is submitting an expense, they have multiple receipts. So we need to process each of those receipts. So in the apply to each, we'll specify all the attachments that come in from the email. And then once we have that, we can go ahead and add in the AI builder node. So I just clicked on add node. I went to run a prompt under AI capabilities, clicking into that. And then from this run a prompt, I'll just select the prompt that I created. And then we'll have the two inputs that we have as well. So for email, that would be the body of the email. And then for receipts, that will be the attachment content from the email as well. So we just pass in the relevant data so that it can process it. Once we have the prompt in our flow, again, bit of cooking show magic. Out the oven comes the completed flow. once we process the receipt, for each receipt, we will add a new row to the expense table. Then we will upload the attachment to the expense record. We will set the purpose variable, increment the total expense. And then once those processes are done, we will then create we'll then update the expense report row with the updated details. So let's perform a quick test to show you how that would work. So I'll go test it manually to see it work. Let's send an email. I have an email here prepped, same body, but I have multiple receipts. So I'll just go ahead and send that to myself. Once that comes in, hopefully that will then trigger the Power Automate flow along with the AI prompt. So waiting for that to come in. The waiting part, right? That's the live demo. Okay, there you go. So we have our email, it's in. So hopefully that has now triggered our Power Automate flow. So I'll wait for that trigger to happen. And then I'll show you how this prompt works in real time, right? So we have okay, taking a bit longer than usual, but okay, there you go. So it's processed, it's created the initial expense report row, and now it's processing all of the receipts. If we go to the expense reports table here, and I'll just click on refresh, you'll see it's created a brand new row, but purpose is empty, as well as total amount is also empty, and the approval status is under pending. Let's go to, let's just do this. Let's go to expenses. So I'll refresh expenses. It has already done 3 receipts. It's chosen the right categories, the amount, the vendor, the expense date note. It's even attached the receipt as well. If I refresh once more, the 4th one is now in as well. So that's done. If you go back to the expense report and then we refresh this, we'll now see the total amount has been updated, as well as the approval status, as well as the purpose too. So essentially, let's go back to our flow. We've just created a process that saves a bunch of time, and this is just the beginning, right? This is just the actual processing. From here on out, you can create another prompt that maybe sends this to your manager with additional info. You can then create another prompt that analyzes the reimbursement process, right? But the main idea here is that we did all of this from a natural language prompt. Some quick key takeaways is that with AI prompts, we can then use GPT to really change how we process multimodal data with AI prompts. Dataverse data grounding enables us to augment the AI knowledge with our specific business knowledge. And of course, once we have built the prompts, you cannot just use that only in Power Automate, but across the Power Platform as well. I have a bunch of resources here to get you started with AI prompts, as well as the full sample that I've just shown you with the AI prompts and the full Power Automate flow at the link below. I'll also paste these links in the chat window. Thank you.
Awesome stuff. Thank you, Gomo, on that one. Really, really cool. So this was awesome explanation on how the prompts are working, and like it was said in the chat as well, it's brilliant way of the fact that you can reuse the same prompt in the multiple applications in Power Platform is really good as well. But now, Gomo, you could have actually had the title as creating multimodal AI prompts in the Power Platform and using them in agents, because technically that was autonomous agent what we were doing. So right, theoretically at least, you could argue that it was an agent.
Yeah, of course.
Well, so.
I can come back the next month and show you an agent, and then the month after that in Power Automate. I can be here the whole year.
True, but it is technically, so we're using Power Automate behind of the scenes for autonomous agents in many cases, and then it's just a matter of using the GPT like Gomo was showing, and so GPT to analyze the language of the email to make decisions. How do we route that? How do we collect the data? How do we do things? So really, really awesome demo. Thank you, Gomo, on that one. Awesome work on that, and really good intro slides, giving the context, and then a live demo as well. Brilliant work. Now, today we had a great demos. One from Bob together with Paolo about add authentication to a declarative agents and API plugin. That was more a pro developer storytelling. So basically, you're implementing stuff in Visual Studio Code, and then Gomo was showing how to do a autonomous agent with a multimodal AI prompts in the Power Platform using the Power Platform, which is more kind of a low-code, no-code experience, but really awesome stuff. Great demos from both, so thank you for that for sure. Now, from a timing perspective, that was good that we don't have a third demo. I think we would have actually speed up the things a bit, so this is good that we didn't have 3 demos this time. Next year, why am I, the timing is hard. Not here, next week. Week is different than a year. I will remember this within whatever day. Anyway, so next week on 20th of May, we have Aisha doing a demo on add actions to a custom engine agents. This will be the last demo on the Copilot agent extensibility storytelling, which has been 11 demos in a row. So thank you for the Cloud Advocates team on that one. And then Sudhita Basu is going to come here and talk about their SharePoint hackathon submission, which was an insurance company's process streamline with SharePoint agents. So basically showcasing what the SharePoint agents are and how a imaginary insurance company was using them within their deployment to speed up the business processes. But that's really exciting demos. That's on next Tuesday on 20th of May at 8 a.m. Pacific time. And then in 27th, we have 3 demos. So there's a lot of cool stuff also getting announced next week in Build. And a lot of that stuff is getting then covered within these community calls in June and July and so on. So we'll have a lot of cool stuff. Now, in the meanwhile, please take advantage also of our Discord server if you are in the Discord. So of course, there's a lot of different forums available for us to have a discussion with other community members. Discord is one of them, so we created this as a lot of people are in Discord, so have a location for those people to natively easily have access on community members as well. We do have more than 2,800 members there already. We're always also looking for feedback around these calls. This helps us on keeping us delivering these calls as well. So we're kind of collecting statistics. Did you like the demos? Please go in filling the form and rating. If today's demos were awesome, like they were, please go there and answer right on the question on the rating. And that will help us on keeping these calls also live in the future, because obviously we need to also show the value of these calls for our community. No doubts on the value on that, but it helps on the communication with the leadership. Now, the recording will be available within 24 hours at Microsoft Community Learning YouTube channel. You want to subscribe there today, so you'll get notified when that is available. And we will share an updates in LinkedIn, Blue Sky, and Twitter. And the next call is in May 20th, as mentioned. All of the calls which we have, you can find them at AKMS Community Calls URL. You can download the recurrent invites, and then you will get them to your calendar as well. But that's it for today. Thank you one more time for Paolo, Bob, and Gomo for great demos. Thank you for everybody who were actively involved in the chat, super active chat again. That's always awesome to see. And let's stay in touch. Thanks, everybody. Cheers. Bye-bye.